Hello everyone, Big Clinky here. As you probably all know, certain games that are highly anticipated by the Pokemon community are a little under a week away. So first, I believe it's time for the Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire special demo version. And yeah, I just have to extend a big thanks to Caleb Carroll, who was the one who actually donated the code to me for this. If it weren't for him, I would have had to have got this code through buying one of the eShop titles. Of course, I probably would have bought Pokemon Trading Card Game Game Boy anyway. But yeah, speaking of which, this demo is only accessible by getting a certain code, and there are many ways you can get these. My current system is the US version, and for that, well, previously you could get them through the Pokemon Trainer Club newsletter, only if you were a US resident. I learned that the hard way. Yes, I did not get mine through the newsletter, despite the fact that, if you're an overseas resident, you can sign up for the newsletter, but you don't get the code, so I learnt that the hard way again. But other than that, at the moment, I think it might be giving out in certain stores, and also if you buy Pokemon Art Academy, Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, or Pokemon Trading Card Game, the Game Boy game, on the Nintendo eShop, then you'll get given a code for this demo. It says while stocks last, though, so you might want to actually get those quick if you're wanting. Anyway, check out Cerebi.net. They have a full list of how to get the demo. But anyway, that's enough about that. Let's start this up. Now, full disclosure, this is not a blind run or anything. I have played the demo quite extensively on my other Australian 3DS, so I already know what's coming, and I kind of prefer things like that, because there is actually quite a lot to talk about in this demo. It's actually a lot more extensive than most people think, and it's got a lot of very neat little details that only really hardcore fans are going to notice. So my job, I'm going to point those out. And also, I just want to mention, this is also going to be a semi-precursor to a challenge run that I intend to do for the main Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire games once they come out. The demo itself doesn't really lend itself to challenge rules, though, so I'm really not sure exactly how I'm going to handle it. I might set myself arbitrary restrictions at random points when playing the demo. No items is going to be a main one. I'll talk about that once we get in there. But anyway, let's start this thing up. And if you're expecting a big dramatic opening sequence, you're not exactly going to get one. The demo is pretty straight and to the point. Oh, actually, we have to choose this first. I could do this in Japanese if I wanted to, but I doubt that'd be very interesting for those of you who don't understand Japanese. So, let's just go with English. And yes, and let me just show you something. As the bottom screen shows here, once you first set your language, just like with Pokemon X and Y, you cannot change it at all. So, this is a one-time choice, so be careful what language you choose. Anyway, there's Plusle and mine in there. Let's begin. So, here we are at the title screen with a nice ocean background. You get either an ocean-themed or a volcano-themed background, it's kind of random. But anyway, here is the special demo version. And here is the title screen theme. Now, I will say just at one point, I might be silent at some points in the demo just to give you a good listen to the music. I absolutely love the music in remakes in general, really. In fact, it's one of the main things I'm looking forward to in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is the soundtrack and the remixes of old themes. I don't know why, I just really have an interest in those. Heart Gold and Soul Silver had an absolutely phenomenal soundtrack, and I am really psyched for the soundtrack of these games, considering that, well, let's just say if what we hear in the demos is any indication, it's going to be very, very good. Oh, we're getting to this awesome part of the intro theme. Now, I will say the main theme, the main Pokemon theme, in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald versions is probably my favourite version of the Pokemon theme in the entire series. This remix, though, I'm not exactly as big a fan of it, mainly because this theme already got remixed in Colosseum, and the Colosseum remix was just so amazing, it effectively spoiled me on any future remixes of this, so I kind of prefer the Colosseum remix. Anyway, this bit's awesome, I'm going to be silent for this part. See, no other... And I think it's just going to reset itself. Yeah, there we go. No other version of the main theme has a bit like that. I really like the Ruby and Sapphire main theme. But anyway, I guess we should go ahead and start. And we begin our adventure by flying Latios Airlines, favoured airlines of the champion of Hoenn, and new adventures everywhere. We can see Sotopoulos over there, maybe even the Pokemon League over on the left-hand side, but where we're landing is somewhere else. This place. You might recognise the I don't know if they're mangroves or not, or the beaches. We have made it. How Steven randomly knows a Latios, we'll never know. Bye, Latios. We'll be seeing a lot of you, trust me. But here we are at Mossdeep City. It's got a pretty major graphical overhaul since 12 years ago. There's the Space Center, and there's the rocket. I'll give you a tour of this place once we actually get control, which won't be for a little while. Mossdeep City, the town where scientists work day and night on research, aiming to reach the great expanse of space, and start countless rumors in the original games about being able to go to space and catch geoxies. It'd be really funny if they actually made that an event in these new games, but I digress. So, we've got a message from the professor. That doesn't sound good. And yes, you are locked into playing as the boy character for this demo, and his name is always Orlando, rather than like Brendan or anything. But in my headcanon, I'm saying Orlando is his surname, and he's going by his surname in this demo. So regardless of whatever you name him, the name here is correct. But that's just my personal interpretation of this. But here's the Mossdeep Space Center. For some reason, due to the fact that the rocket is a separate area, it kind of looks a bit smaller than it used to. The professor should be And here we have our first exposure to the new Team Aqua encounter theme. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's not quite as dramatic as the original, but still. Yarr, troublemaker spotted, yarr. I'm sorry, I won't continue that for a while, but it's... Yep, so they happily explain what team they're from. There's a lot of pretty funny dialogue in this demo, I'll just say. Yeah, Steven always battles girls who hit on him. But I don't have any Pokemon. But that's going to change very soon. So, here we are. We get to select a Pokemon. Okay, so we get the 3 up here, and we can see the 3 Pokeballs down on the bottom screen. So yes, for the demo, you get a choice of one of the 3 middle stages of the Hoenn starters. You can pick Combusken, Grovyle, or Marshtomp. Now, as for which one I'm going to choose, in my original playthrough of Ruby version back in the day, I picked Torchic. In my Emerald playthrough, I picked Mudkip. So, do you think I'm going to appeal to nostalgia and choose something I picked back then? Actually, no. Mainly because, from seeing all the trailers, and seeing the new Megas these Pokemon get, there was one Mega that interested me more than the others, and that Mega is in fact, Sceptile. So, sorry Team Aqua, kinda sucks to be you, but we're choosing Grass. Yarr, we be challenged by Team Aqua Goatee Grunt. Team Aqua Grunt be sending out a Poochyena, which they always do, yarr. Sorry. Anyway, I cannot stress enough how much I love the new Team Magma / Aqua battle theme. I wasn't actually a big fan of this theme in the original version that much, but, oh, this arrangement is so amazing. It just sounds so epic. Anyway, you might notice this Poochyena is considerably lower level than us. That is going to be a running theme from the demo. You might also notice that Grovyle is level 35, 1 level off evolution, and is already at over half experience. yes, there is no way to avoid it reaching its final stage by the end of this demo, but that's, I guess, pretty cool. So, anyway, now, first, I'm going to go ahead and show off what Grovil's moves are on the bottom screen. I still love this theme. Now, if we check Pokemon, we'll see we just have Grovile, nothing else. If we check our bag, you'll notice that we have 3 Hyper Potions and 3 full heals. I am not going to be using any of those in this demo run. Now, as for moves, we've got ourselves a fairly nice lineup here, apart from Slam. Slam is a terrible move. We have Leaf Blade, Aerial Ace, and Agility. So that's alright. Grovile doesn't really need Agility. It's going to be outspeeding pretty much everything here anyway. Leaf Blade is a very nice move, so is Aerial Ace. Sadly, both are physical, so, yeah. Sceptile is kind of an interesting Pokemon, one of the few that kind of got the short end of the stick when the physical special split happened. Not to mention a whole bunch of other Pokemon getting its signature move and making it not so unique anymore. Sceptile's actually one of the not so good uses of Leaf Blade now, sadly, but at least Leaf Blade has got a nice power buff since the 3rd generation. It's now 90 power as opposed to 75, so still keeps its high critical hit ratio, so pretty nice there. Let's just go ahead and Leaf Blade this thing. If you picked Combusken here, which I did in my first demo run, this battle is ludicrously easy, and it still is even with Grovile. Because you just double kick it to death, and super effective. Anyway. Whoa, I got defeated all too soon. Now, also, fair warning, money is totally useless in this demo, even though you'll be getting it. I have no idea why you get given money in the demo, but it's completely pointless. Anyway, the Team Magma Aqua victory theme's actually pretty cool. I do like the version of it in this one. A Mega Evolving Pokemon. Well, that can't be good if they get their hands on it. Of course, they're probably not going to use it unless it's a Mightyena or something. You know, they call themselves a water team, but the only water type they use is like Kaval. Well, I think some use Wailmer, but anyway. We're sailing away, adventure waits on every shore. Anyway. Island. Scientist with a semi-unique, I can't say sprite model. So yeah, this is Orlando. We don't get a choice in his name, so he is always Orlando. Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be pretty broken if you got to double battle alongside Steven at this point, but, that's not to say that you won't be disappointed later on. Now, this guy, I believe, I'm not sure if he says it who he is at this point or not. Team something or other, yeah. People don't really think too highly of Team Aqua here. This certain Pokemon is different depending on what version of the demo you have, but I'll get into that later. So, yeah, we've got a mission then. And now, we get to... Wait, not yet. Anyway, we have the Pokemon Center right here. So, we actually have full control now. But first, I need to show you something. Here we have the Buzz Nav. It's the only thing that's going to be on the bottom screen while you're exploring cities, and it explains a few interesting things. Mostly it just tells you about stuff that fans of the original Ruby and Sapphire will already know. For example, this one here. That would be the daycare. Yeah, it has a few interesting nods, but, also, it's actually kind of cool. It will inform you of the controls as well. Now, I actually really like this from a game design perspective. It means that the tutorials are unobtrusive. You don't have characters randomly coming and saying, "Oh, hello, I'm going to teach you how to walk now. I'm going to teach you how to catch Pokemon." But instead, you can just watch these tutorials that kind of just seamlessly scroll on the bottom screen. If you don't need the tutorials, you can just safely ignore them. They're kind of unobtrusive. And this here is kind of interesting. This is something new. Morville Food Court, that certainly wasn't in the original. I get the feeling that it's replaced the Game Corner. Also, yeah, you get explanation of basic type matchups. this is kind of useful. Again, like, for new players, it has a few tutorials, but for veteran players, it's unobtrusive, and you can safely ignore it without really, you know, affecting anything. So, also, yes, Devon Corporation. Anyway, let's just go ahead and check our Pokemon list for a second. Okay, so we can see Grovyle right here. And, apologies here, I just want to just show this off. From the looks of things... Oh, okay, so I guess the natures might be randomized. I got a neutral nature on my starter the first time I played the demo. Here it looks like I've got a very, very, very bad nature. In fact, possibly one of the worst natures Grovyle could have. Let me just see if I'm right about this. Oh my, yeah, that's awful. That is like one of the worst possible natures for a Grovyle. Yeah, thanks for that, game. Plus defense minus speed. That is very, very bad. But if we go to this second thing, you'll see some contest stats. This is actually, yeah, sort of new. Well, new if you're used to X and Y. And you might notice that beauty and smart have been changed to beautiful and clever. Interesting. And it says Grovyle's dex number is number 002 because it's number 2 in the whole Pokedex. Now, I'll actually go over the contest moves later on. For now, I'll just get to the main part of this episode of the demo. So, here we are in Mossdeep City. Our slogan, Cherish Pokemon. Shouldn't that be everywhere slogan? Now, if we go over here, here is what it looks like the Pokemon. So, it seems that guy's going to Oldale Town. If you played the originals, you might remember this guy as Guy Who Gives You Potion. So, that's actually a pretty cool nod. Who's this? They seem somewhat familiar. And the new gym symbol that's been in use ever since Generation 5, I think. Lizard and Tate, the Mystic Combination. They're both claiming to be the leader. Interesting. Hey, wouldn't it be nice to challenge a gym right now? Nope, demo says no, sorry. Sorry, you can't go into the gym. We're too traumatized after our last challenger used thunder as armor. Yeah, that, I don't even say it. Also, houses! Yay, raiding people's homes Gasp! For the first time in Pokemon history, people have actually learned to lock their doors and not let strangers in! Yeah, that's pretty amazing. There's also a random youngster here. So yes, this is Steven's house. I seem to remember Steven's house not quite being here in the original games, being a bit further down. Well, collecting rocks is good if they're Mega Stones. Guess that's what Steven was doing the whole time. I'm wondering why these people would be so intent on breaking into Steven's house, but anyway. It's an invisible wall. Or is it? Yeah, people who played the original Ruby and Sapphire will know full well what that is. But anyway. Okay, so that door's also locked. All the doors in here are locked, so anyway. No need to check them out. If we go exploring around here, we can see the sort of mangrove type area down here. With some nice water. Oh yes, you move with the... You run by holding down B. You have the running shoes by default here. You can go around with a circle pad like this. If you hold the circle pad very slightly, creepily sneak up on people. Makes you look very creepy, and I don't suggest doing this unless you are wanting to be creepy. Remember this beach. This beach will become semi-important later. But for now, also Steven is permanently blocking that Pokemon Center. We cannot get in. But we'll get all the healing that we need normally. Now this house has a yellow roof, but it's still locked. If we check out around here, there's nothing here, but remember this location for later, because, again, it might become important. There's a sailor here. Wait, the herd of Whalers already disappeared? Doesn't that block your progress getting out of that city until... Interesting. Unless this demo takes place later in the chronology, and I don't even know where this demo fits into the timeline of the actual games, or if it's even canon at all, but we have this white rock, which many people will remember from the original games. Yeah, it took me a while to realize wish tag, I think, refers to something very specific in Japanese culture, but, anyway. Now, this area is completely new. We couldn't actually go here in the original games. Yep, we can go all the way up to the launch pad. That's totally not dangerous at all. But, yep. Finally, we can actually go here. But crossing the sea with a Pokemon using Surf. That's an exhilarating trip that we'll have to do a lot once the real games come out. Hopefully, they do something to break up all the surfing. So, let's head on over here. There's not really much else to show you in Mossdeep City. While we're at the music of Mossdeep City, it kind of sounds pretty much the same as the original. I like this part of the song, but the rest of it sounds almost somewhat phone ringtone-y to me. I'm not really sure about how I feel about that. Anyway, if we go up here, we can see the rocket. And if we look in the distance, I don't think we can see any opening, but I think that would be Shoal Cave over there to the right. We can also talk to this guy right here, or we can... Yeah, if this is the closest place to space, then your region doesn't have very many high buildings, does it? We haven't actually seen Team Magma yet. And again, I don't mention this, but I'm pretty sure that guy is Professor Cosmo, aka the guy who, spoilers, gets kidnapped by Team Magma in the original games, or Aqua, depending on what version you're playing. I'm used to Emerald's plotline, because, well, Emerald was my favourite game in the series for a very long time. And now that we've finished our tour of Mossdeep City, let's go ahead and help that Pokemon. Hold on a second, we'll just, quit you out of this conversation and let you keep exploring Mossdeep. We'll get plenty of opportunities to explore Mossdeep, believe me, but there's not all that much for us to see here. Yet. Hint, hint. But, are we going to go ahead and... Thank you for flying Latios Airlines. In the event of an emergency, seatbelts are located. Oh wait, there aren't any seatbelts, so please try not to crash, or, well, please don't sue us.